I'm Judge CURTISSA Cofield, and I have spent quite a bit of time in New Haven. My father's a minister in New Haven for quite a number of years. I'm now living in the Connecticut area. When George Phillips invited me to be here, he said, come in and tell you to dare to fly. And I didn't realize I was going to have to fly from the graduate club to get here because I was in a judicial meeting, and I think that you'd be happy to know that the meeting dealt with making the judicial system fair to people who look like us. And that's an important goal, and I was there discussing that with other judges, how to make the judicial system fair. But I also, in regards to my husband, Judge Mary White, he wanted to be here today, but couldn't because he's flying out to Atlanta. And again, George, thank you for inviting me here. Can I see everybody who graduated? Can you just stand up so I can see who you are?
Yeah.
So what a good-looking class. I mean, they won't even have to put that sign up that says "Stop Construction Workers." They're just going to stop because it looks good. So it's good to see. And I'm basically here. It's at the end of the program, and it's your program. It's your day. It's about you. I'm here to encourage you. I know that some of you may have felt initially that you were born with the cards, the deck stacked against you. And you wouldn't be by yourself. I wasn't born a judge. When I grew up in the South, in North Carolina, in legalized segregation, I felt that the decks were stacked against me. Do you know that this meant that I could not, as a woman who loves clothes, and I guess I get emotional about it even when I talk now, but I could not try on clothes because of the color of my skin. If you grew up in the segregated South and you wanted to know what an outfit looked like, you just have to see it in your imagination. You couldn't walk into a department store and just try on clothes. You couldn't go to the bathroom. You had to go to segregated schools. So if you grow up with that kind of treatment, you may feel that the deck is stacked against you. But I suppose the goal then is, what do you do about a deck that's stacked against you? And one speaker has said that adversity is a great motivator. And for me, adversity was a great motivator. Let me tell you about this one little experience where, as a 12-year-old child, I was sitting in the back of my father's car. My father's a Black Baptist minister, and you all know that we hate their God. And I certainly thought that my dad was God. And that one day, when I was about 12 years old in North Carolina, we drove up to a place like the McDonald's, and we were trying to get a hot dog. And my father thought that because it was a drive-in restaurant, he could get a hot dog for me. Well, as we drove up to the window, a young guy came out and he looked at my father, who I'd never seen disrespected in my whole life. In fact, I thought the people in the church worship him as much as they worship God. And someone said to him, "We don't serve niggas here." And at that point, I saw my father's head drop. I had never seen him placed in that type of situation. And at 12 years old, I looked at my father, who had a master's degree from Columbia University. He was a black man and had a job and an education, and he could not buy his child a hot dog. And instead of getting mad and burning the place down, I said that someday I'm going to do something that make the laws of this great country respect people like my father. People like you who have jobs, who are working, who are decent, honest men and women. And I didn't know how I would do it at 12 years old, but all I knew was that I had a dream. I, like Martin Luther King, I had a dream. And that's what you have to do first. You have to find something that you want to set right. You have to have a mission, even if it's just making sure that your family doesn't live in poverty. And then you do everything you can to make that mission come true. And you're going to have some setbacks. Let me tell you that right now. But you know what the minister says, that a setback is just a setup for a comeback. So yeah, you're going to have setbacks, but don't let anybody knock you down. George and I met because I'm a boxing judge with George. And I tell you, you see character when you see those guys in the ring boxing. When you get knocked down, that's what shows character, is when you can get back up and fight again. So if you have a setback, don't worry about it. Just get up and fight again. You know, some people probably said about me, a little 12-year-old girl from the South, who does she think she is? Well, that's what you have to prove, because people are going to be looking at you, and you're going to be out there working, and the guys from the neighborhood, the old guys, the homies, they're going to look at you and say, who does he think he is? I remember him when. I remember her when. Well, you know what? That's your job. Show them who you are. And it's not something that you show somebody one time and then you stop. You keep showing people every day what you're made of. And don't think any job is too small, because it's not. You've got to make small steps. You cannot start off as Donald Trump. You can eventually become him, hopefully, but you got to do the small job first. And you know how you get noticed? You do the small job and you do it well. And then you'll get noticed by somebody, and they'll say, you know, I really like her, or I really like him. He's reliable. I can count on him. He'll be here for the job. He always shows up. He asks for more responsibility than what he has. Those are the kinds of traits and habits that will get you noticed. And I would tell you, good looking group, you're going to get noticed anyway. But just make sure, when I was coming down here, I was listening to the Temptations, and the Temptations were talking about having a dream and just make it, but don't fake it. So, I mean, you know how to be real about life. Represent your family. When you go out there every day, I mean, it's so important to know who you are and to give honor to your family's last name. Now, some of you may have seen your family's last name on a criminal docket. I don't know, but I always say to people, do something to honor your family's name. Take it off that document, put it on something that's honorable. So now you have an opportunity to honor your family name, to be a role model to your children and to your family, to give people something to look up to. And I'll tell you, I'm proud of you. I love to see black people working. I love to see minorities working. I know that a good work ethic is what's going to keep you on this side of the law. And that's where you belong. I don't care what anybody's told you. You belong on this side of the law. So I congratulate you, and I want you to keep up the good work. And you know, I'm just so proud of you. Please continue to do the work. And just one little quote I had, Frederick Douglass said, greatness doesn't come on a flowery bed of ease. It doesn't. You know the job didn't come to you. You didn't get the job watching BET or TV. You got to get up and go after it. It's not going to come to you, so be go-getters. Go after it, and don't let anybody knock you out. Thank you.
I don't know how she is as a judge in court, but in the box, outside the boxing ring, she's a damn good judge. God bless you. Thank you, CURTISSA.